F switch.
This is episode 108.
Yo, 108.
And before we get to today's topic, do some top of the show business.
Oh, okay. What do you got?
Just want to respond to some listener comments and questions and things like that.
Okay.
A listener, John, remarked on the sound quality of the Zenki game that we heard from last episode.
Okay.
Kishin Doji Zenki track.
Yes.
And he was commenting on how good the samples were
Right.
on the Super Nintendo game. And I just wanted to respond to that and say, if you think this quality sounded good on that track, you should check out the main theme, because the quality on that sounds really, really good. And we'll probably eventually hear from that main theme on this podcast at one point. But that's a good track to check out as well.
Okay.
Victor sent an email or a text to us and wanted to let us know that there actually was a tic-tac-toe video game for the Atari 2600.
Right.
So I thought that was worthy of mentioning on the podcast.
Yeah.
That there was actually a tic-tac-toe game. When I was describing the Pictionary track from last week, drawing game.
Right.
I kind of said it had a sort of R&B feel to it. I didn't really mean R&B. I meant soul. I just wanted to clarify that. It has kind of a soul feel.
Okay.
And usually, out of the Fallens, you expect more of a rock kind of thing. But there was more of a soul thing, and that's what I was kind of more surprised about. But anyway, that drawing game track, I still just really love that track. I think that's a real strong contender for our next top 10 countdown.
Oh, really?
No, you don't think so?
I could be. I didn't want to reveal anything.
Well, no, I'm just. I mean, look, it's so early. You know what I mean? It's so early on in the year, but I just think that was such a jam.
It was. It got the posts have been lively these last few episodes.
Right.
Lots of banter, lots of discussion.
Yeah.
And the Fallen brothers, the Fallen track seems to be a topic of much discussion.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's just that drawing game track, just really a hit, just a big hit. So
straight up,
good contender.
I mean, I'm telling you right now, that Smurfs track already.
Oh yeah, that's a contender too.
Yes, no doubt.
Right. So, okay, and then I was on the last episode, I was saying that in Clue the movie, that Miss Scarlet is this hot woman. I mean, not Miss Scarlet. Miss Peacock is this hot woman.
Okay.
Do you remember me saying that?
Yes.
That she's portrayed as an old lady in the game, but in the movie, she's this hot woman.
What did you say? What was the exact quote you said?
That's what I said.
No, you said something about she's got it going on or something.
No, I was saying that about the music. But
no. You said she looks like she's not.
I said Professor Plum. His track was cute, and Miss Peacock, her track had it going on, kind of. But I was talking about the music. But but I was saying that how old lady for the game, but in the movie it's this hot woman. I was for some reason confusing her with Miss Scarlet in the movie. That's who I actually was talking about. I was talking about Miss Scarlet is the hot woman in the movie, and she's also the hot woman in the game too.
Right.
So for some reason I think I thought Miss Peacock, because Miss Peacock's color is blue, and I think in the movie Miss Scarlet's dress is blue at one point or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, it's red in the game, but anyway. So, and then also our listener Mike, you were talking. There was a comment I think that he made about modern chiptune music, or contemporary chiptune music. And how he doesn't really like that so much because the people who compose it usually their background is more like it's a different kind of background that their approach to composing the music isn't the same as the kind of music that we listen to,
right,
from video games. and I just wanted to totally agree with him on that. And I didn't. I think I probably have talked about this already on the podcast, but you know, it to me what makes video game music sound video gamey is not. I mean, it is a little bit to do with the hardware, but for me, it mostly has to do with the composition. You know, there's a way that the music is structured in such a way that it sounds video gamey, and so when a lot of modern day chiptune artists, you know, just use the hardware to compose this music, they're not taking that compositional approach that you know these video game composers from the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, so I just really wanted to agree with him about that and say that as well. Okay, so let's move on to today's topic. All right, which is TV shows. Right, no cartoons.
This was, you know,
just live action TV shows.
We had mentioned on the last episode that we weren't going to do any cartoons. You just played it for us.
Yeah.
While we were off the air.
Yeah.
And all I heard was TV, and I didn't hear that we couldn't do cartoons. Because this was a very hard episode for me.
Yeah, it was hard for me because there were too many soundtracks to listen to.
I couldn't find. Well, you found the Japanese soundtracks,
but I also found some other stuff that you know.
I found some stuff not quite as much as you. I'm pleased with my tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pleased with them.
Yeah.
But it was difficult for me to find some tracks.
Well, you know, at first I thought there wasn't as many TV shows as I thought there was going to be. So you were saying cartoons because you missed the cartoon part, and you did have cartoons picked out.
I think I had no less than 70 cartoon soundtracks.
Right.
Sorting through, and I was thinking, oh, Tasmanian Devil here, a little Daffy Duck over here, some Mickey Mouse up this piece.
When you asked me about cartoons, somehow it came up that you were picking cartoons, and I was like, well, you know, we already did a cartoons episode.
Right. It's true. No, it's true. It makes sense.
So, the thing with the TV shows is, I listened to about 40 soundtracks for this episode. And, found some American television shows. And then also, I realized that there was a ton of Japanese TV shows, mainly based on these tokusatsu television shows. Right. Tokusatsu or tokusatsu. I don't know. All right. Tokusatsu. How about that? All right, maybe? Is that... Okay. Those are these action TV shows that involve costumes and stuff, you know.
Right.
So shows like Ultraman and Kamen Rider, right?
Okay.
These are really popular TV shows in Japan. I think they start making those in the 60s, you know. Those I think the first Ultraman or the first Kamen Riders from the 60s.
Sure.
They just had those ran for years and years, and different versions of those shows. And then there's also all the Super Sentai games. TV shows. And Super Sentai is where Power Rangers comes from. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Right.
So there's a ton of just these Super Sentai games, and a ton of these Ultraman games, and a ton of these Kamen Rider games. So that just was half the list right there, I think, at least, you know?
Right.
And, for Super Nintendo and Nintendo, Famicom and Super Famicom. So I had a lot to listen to, a lot to sift through, and I found some really good tracks. And this, yet again, this topic was, just like the manga episode and the board games episode, it really forced me to look at this whole new area of video games that I didn't know about, and also learn a little bit about Japanese TV also, too.
Okay.
But there was also some other stuff I think you were missing too, even with the American-based shows, you know?
Right.
There were some real good ones too.
Well, you pointed out a couple. Well, you pointed out the company.
Yeah.
Konami. And as soon as you said Konami, boom, I got a couple. I've got one game.
Yeah. Well, Konami just, you can always count on Konami to make great music, and fortunately they've done a couple TV show video games. So, all right, let's get started then.
I believe I will be doing those honors. Yes?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I just want to mention a couple of my honorable mentions.
Okay, yeah.
Because I told you I had a
Right.
I had trouble, but these are some. I did find. I found too many tracks as well.
Right.
So, Mama's Family. Vinton is an idiot. That was the name of that track.
Which one?
Vinton is an idiot.
Oh, I don't even know that.
No, I'm saying that's the name of the track.
Oh, okay.
For Mama's
Yeah.
Family. That was the Jeffersons.
Yeah.
Theme of the Honky.
Uh-huh.
That was really good, but not for this one.
Yeah.
And then there was the staff roll on the Phil Donahue show, the game.
Oh, yeah.
That was really that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Uh-huh. Staff roll. Phil Donahue. Yeah.
No, it's the Phil Donahue.
Are you sure that wasn't adapted from the TV show?
No, it's legit. It was straight legit.
It wasn't like the staff roll music from the actual Donahue show. Because you can't. It would not be. You couldn't use it for this episode.
Right. But on the real tip, I'm gonna do Mission Impossible.
Yeah, this is
Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah, because he Rob emailed me and he was like, I don't, I'm having trouble finding games. I'm like, man, you got to dig deeper because there's stuff out there. Trust me. And he hadn't mentioned. He said, oh, I found some stuff, but they're kind of whatever, And I was like, I don't think you're listening to, you got to look. I'll give you a hint. Konami.
And then instantly I thought, oh, Mission Impossible.
It was funny because I think you gave me that game.
I think
about
so
10
as
years,
well.
over 10 years ago, you gave me Mission Impossible.
Did you beat that game?
I don't think I even really explored it. Actually.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And I never beat it. I do remember the track I'm about to play for you.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very good track.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And do you have the composers of this one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who you got?
I have here, and actually have verification on this too. Strong verification from the composers. Jun Funahashi, who's credited as Dogman, and Yoshiyuki Hajiwara, who's credited as Hajin. And that was actually confirmed by now I'm forgetting actually how that. Oh, maybe it was confirmed by Jun Funahashi himself, but I actually got that through he's sometimes listener Nick, who oftentimes is really good at contacting composers and finding out this information. Yeah. So thanks to Nick for verifying those composers. Yeah.
Nick knows.
Yeah.
Nick knows.
So those are the composers on that.
And that's not his nickname.
Well,
Nick knows. I'm not calling him a nose.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying he knows.
Okay, right. Okay. Well, that's his nickname then. Nick, K-N-O-W.
Oh, Nick knows.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Okay, that could be that. Nick knows.
Maybe his nickname is K-N-I-C-K.
Oh, Nick.
K-N-O-W-S.
Like the Knicks.
Yeah, something like that.
Nick knows.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a track from the Ultra Games, a.k.a. Konami, titled Mission Impossible. There's music, Stage 1 Underground, from the game Mission Impossible. Love that. Mm-hmm. I know this very well because I think I only got past maybe level 2. And it's a hard game. I think the Angry Video Game Nerd did a video on how silly the game was and
really?
It was hard. And there's some of the mechanics of the game where it was just almost impossible to get through certain parts.
Yeah.
It's a tough game.
Yeah.
And the 2-player, if I'm not mistaken, it's not simultaneous. One person goes and then the other person
Right.
go right after. So it's,
Yeah, I for some reason I never really pursued playing through this game, even though I had it, in my possession. I still do.
right.
I never really went through this game.
It's fun.
And I wasn't really that familiar with the soundtrack until this episode, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And this one was staring me right in the face.
Right.
I can't believe it got away.
But I mean, I have a track picked out from this game as well, and it's definitely it's got some cool jams. They're all pretty on the short, actually, the tracks, but it's got some good jams on it though.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't sure whether to start off with this one or start off with the track from another honorable mention. The Brady Bunch Bash. Brady Bunch Bash.
It's like a fighting game, right?
Something like that. A very early primitive fighting game for Famicom.
Right. It
was only released for Famicom, interestingly enough.
Right.
Not even an NES release.
Right. Totally.
Brady Bunch Bash.
Yeah. Totally. You have to fight. You can fight Greg against Alice, the housekeeper.
She's tough.
Well, Alice is the last boss. She's like fun boss. She's like the M. Bison. Somebody actually did do a fighting game. Someone made some video on the internet that's a fighting game of Full House.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
And you can pick which Full House member you want to use. You fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
When I was younger, I used to think Dave Coulier was really cool.
I used to laugh. I used to
think he was so cool. I mean, he's sort of one of the reasons why I went into what I went into.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, I when I was growing up, I thought that show was really funny, and I thought he was great.
I thought all his, voices.
Right.
I thought that ability was so neat, and I thought I want to do voices like that. I want to. I thought he was so witty.
Sure.
And so just on. I thought his whole cut it out thing was just really way cool.
Turn that music up again. Just turn that up. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Just say you're traveling, okay?
Yeah.
You sit down in your seat. You like aisle or the window?
The window all the way.
Okay, you get an aisle seat.
I mean,
For this flight,
aisle seat, cut it out.
for this flight, you get an aisle seat.
I hate that.
So already you're not feeling good.
Right.
But then you're reading a book.
I prefer the middle to the aisle.
You're reading a book, right? You're taking notes.
It out.
Like we did on our flight.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dave Coulier comes in and he sits in the window seat.
Yeah.
What do you say? Do you say anything to him?
Probably. I usually don't.
Do you feel excited that it's Dave Coulier?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
I used to watch that Nickelodeon show too that he hosted.
I did.
It was called. I think it was called Out of Control or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
He did the voice of the Jackalope, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah, he did do that. Yeah. He was America's Funny Man at one point.
Would you want a picture with him?
No, I don't do that.
You don't do that.
Pretty much.
Not
The
even
only,
Dave Coulier?
the only kind of celebrity I took a picture with once was with Ad Rock from Beastie Boys.
Okay.
Only because people say I look like him, and people yell that out sometimes at me. They'll say Beastie Boys. I don't know. People describe me that way,
Right.
And I thought I should take a comparison photo with him, and I did, like last year.
Okay.
So that's the only time I took a picture with a celebrity. I usually don't say I recognize people